Good morning. Today's video is going to be a collaboration with a bunch of other homeschool moms who are going to answer, I think we have 11 questions all about homeschooling. So if you look down in the description box, it'll show this is hosted by Tiffany over at 5 Peas in the Rod Pod. Hopefully I said that right. It'll be written down below. And there'll be a whole playlist so you can click through and see all the videos from all the other moms. Okay, so our first question is, how long have you homeschooled? And I don't know, it's kind of like one of those things, as you get older, you still feel like a teenager in your head. So when I say that I've been homeschooling as long as I have, which is almost 16 years, I feel still like a newbie at heart. I cannot believe that it's been that long. We started when my oldest was like 4.5, and I would have waited till she was 5, but she was just like chomping at the bit, just wanted to do things, wanted to learn to read, and really taught herself a lot on her own. So I figured we might as well start when she was ready. Okay, so we started, that would have been fall of 2004, and then we've homeschooled all the way through right now. Okay, question 2 is, how many children are you homeschooling? And we have 13 children in our house right now, but 9 are currently in school with me. I have 2 that have gone all the way through my homeschool and are now at the local community college, and I have 9 in school with me and 2 toddlers who are not yet school age. Let's see, when did I know that I wanted to homeschool? Well, I didn't really think about it a lot ahead of time. We got married and started having kids, and about the time my daughter would turn 4, we started thinking about and discussing, my husband and I were discussing what options there were for school, and if we wanted to take her and put her on a bus and let her go to a public school. And we really didn't like it, just didn't settle well. We didn't want to lose that much time in the day that would, we were just jealous. We wanted to have time with her. And we had a lot of homeschool friends at that time. And so we started asking questions and asking them, why they decided to homeschool and kind of what the process was, if there was, legal things, if you had to be qualified or certified. So we asked all those questions then, and then decided we would give it a go, and we've just stuck with it. Okay, so I guess that kind of answered the next question a little bit too, because it says, what was the spouse's reaction and are they supportive? And I would say, after talking with all of our friends that were already homeschooling, my husband was the one that decided he wanted to homeschool first. He was fully on board, probably before I was. So I would say he is very supportive. He's been very supportive the whole time. And I don't take that for granted. Okay, so next question is, how do you make sure that you and your spouse share the same vision for your homeschool? I would say this is probably just like any other decision in your life. You just have to talk it out, and you have to make sure that your goals are the same. I think our biggest goal is just to be able to spend the quantity of time together as a family, both building relationships between the parents and the children, but also between the siblings. And we wanted that for them. So we've always shared that, and we just kind of rediscuss it every, so often, and just make sure we're on the same page. Okay, number 6 was, have you had any mentors along the way in your homeschooling? And I would say the biggest mentor and cheerleader for me was my friend Emily. She's been there. She was one of those other moms that we knew at the very beginning of our homeschool journey. And her youngest daughter is the same age as or just slightly older than my oldest. So she had kind of paved the way. She had gone through homeschooling 4 kids, and her youngest was just a little bit ahead of my oldest. So I just called her, probably to the point where it was annoying. Maybe, I don't know. she can comment and tell me whether or not she thought I was annoying. But I just asked her all the time, okay, what are you using with your daughter? What did you use for English? What did you use for math? What did you like for this? What did you not like? I just asked her how her daily schedule went. I picked her brain all the time. And we moved away a couple years into our homeschooling journey and lived in a different town. And there were a couple other ladies there that this was kind of look everything up on YouTube and see what other moms are doing. So I actually called somebody on the phone and met with her in person. And so there were a couple other ladies in that town that really helped me. And it just helps to have camaraderie, even if the mom isn't necessarily mentor, way older than you. It just is good to have somebody who's doing it with you. So anyway, so there's definitely been a few mentors along the way. And number 7 says, what is the best piece of advice that you've ever received about homeschooling? Gosh, I think the best piece would just be, do not be afraid to ditch a curriculum just because you spent money on it. I know there's a lot of times when you've invested in a curriculum, and books can be expensive, and you just don't want to have wasted your money. And so you're struggling through, and it may be just not the right fit. So when somebody told me that, it really freed me up, not to just go and blow a bunch of money, but to know that we don't have to struggle. We can just switch it, and it doesn't have to be, you could ditch it and then do some review for a while, or you could ditch it and find a free online, easy peasy online for a while or something, or Ambleside online. There's lots of different free options. So you could ditch something and switch things around, and you don't have to struggle with a curriculum just because it costs you money. Then the next question is, what is the best piece of advice that you could give someone else? So something that I've found that really helped me is not to track the progress that we're making by goals. I'm not looking at looking ahead, I'm looking backwards. So when I record things, I'm not looking at, these are the goals I have for the year. I'm writing down things that I know we've already accomplished. And I know that that really helped me track their progress, because then I can look back 6 months or a year and see how far they've come and know that we've made a lot of progress. And for me, when I look backwards instead of looking ahead, it really helped me not to feel stressed out or anxious that we were not doing enough. It just made me more at ease. So I would say, if you can just write down the things that you've done, write down a list of books you've already read so that you can look back and see the list growing, or just tracking your progress, not writing a whole list and then checking it off and feeling oh my gosh, I'm not getting to this and I'm not getting to that. Don't do that to yourself, because maybe there are some people that will work for, but for me, it was totally overwhelming. So it was way better to just write things that we already did and track our progress the other way. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay. Next question. What is the most difficult, I'm sorry, I'm going to cough. What is the most difficult aspect of homeschooling? And I want to say teenagers, which I know is really stupid. By the time they get to that age, they should be very independent and lovely. But if you have teenagers, maybe you'll laugh with me on that one. But that's not my total answer. I would say the most difficult thing for me is consistency. I am a spontaneous, spur of the moment, let's throw everything out the window and go to the zoo kind of person. So to have a consistent schedule and routine is absolutely the most difficult thing for me. Let's see, what do you find the most rewarding? And I would say the most rewarding part with homeschooling is not academic. There are definitely light bulb moments when you see somebody start to read or get a math concept that are amazing. But the most rewarding part about homeschooling to me is seeing the sibling relationships that are built within my family. Seeing my older kids sit down and play a game with my younger kids, and just know them as people that if they were gone and in separate classrooms 8 hours a day, they just wouldn't have that same bond. So that's the most rewarding for me. Number 11, I kind of think this is a funny question to include here, but it says, do you make time for yourself, and how do you practice self-care? I don't really know how to answer this question. I don't really like our culture's term of self-care. I don't know. I'm a huge extrovert, and I don't like alone time anyway. If I'm running an errand or going to the store or doing anything, I always want to grab a buddy, have somebody come with me. So practicing self-care with your normal, like, oh, I'm going to go to Target and I'm going to walk around, like, sounds kind of fun, but can I bring 3 kids? Maybe that's not normal. I don't know. So I guess maybe self-care for me would just be like, I allow myself to pick up Starbucks once in a while, or I don't know, something like that maybe. Okay, and then there was one bonus. It said, if you're a Christian, what is the verse for your homeschool? Do you have one? And this is something that, like, I don't have it posted on our wall, but when I think about our homeschool and I pray for what I want for my kids and what I want to establish in their hearts, I always just come back to Colossians 3:23 and 24, which just says, whatever you do, work heartily as for the Lord and not for men, knowing that from the Lord you will receive the inheritance as your reward. You are serving the Lord Christ. And I just like to keep that as my prayer in the center. Like, that's what I want. That's my goal for them and for their hearts, is I want them to not do all of their work to please me or to please my husband, or any academic standard. Like, they need to work for the Lord. That is who their life is for, and that's who they should work for, and it should be the center of our day. So hopefully that this was fun and interesting to listen to. And like I said, check out the playlist below and you can see all the different answers from all the different moms, and have a blessed day.